Now, do not rule out the possibility that we still reach my trend line right here, that we still come up to this 113,000 area or even try to overthrow it. That's certainly possible. The highs right here could be pointing to the next high, and we may even get an overthrow move. Might form a 13 or a 9 count or even both. And at the December top, I talked about the 13 count. Again, I predicted up into the trend line in the weekly time frame and slam into it. Did in December and January. I called the very day of those tops because of that trend line in the weekly time frame. You'll see it in this video if you watch it all the way through. 13 count there, and then here we got a 9 count the day after the peak. Got a on here for a counter trend, and that was it. And then we stalled up to 50. Here we got a 13 count, went a little bit lower, and then we got the bottom. Here we're about to get a 13 or a 9, maybe both. Just bring this up close. After we completed the 9 count over here, late April, it was not a perfected signal, so there's no P above it because the 8 or 9 is not the high of the count. We got a trend extension, and the trend extension is this move right here. And now, right after that 9 count, we've started a 13 count down sell signal. These are the counts below. They do not have to be consecutive bars. There can be interruptions, and we've seen it start, stop, and then it started. And here we started with bar 8, and now we're on up to bar 12. We're up to bar 12 at our high on Thursday. Okay, and currently we have a 9 count. The count on the top, we have a 7 of a 9 count. We could see 13 mark a peak. You got to be above the bar from 2 bars ago. Right now we're not, so this bar is not getting a 13. Previous bar we were down 4%. It's not getting a 13 because we were not above the bar from 4 bars ago. 2 bars ago. Two bars ago with the 13 count. We were not above the bar from 2 bars ago. Currently, we're not above the bar from 2 bars ago. Did I say 4 bars a minute ago? I apologize. Bars with the 13 count. The 9 count be above the bar from 4 bars ago. So here's the 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're still above it. If the rally can continue to the 113,000 trend line or move just beyond it, it can complete the 9 count. Count finishes. It would have to finish in 2 days. There can be no interruptions. We have on Saturday bar 7. That means on Sunday we get bar 8. Monday we get bar 9. Bar 8 or 9 has to be the high of the count. So we got to come back up here and move above this 112,000 area if this 9 count is to finish being canceled out. The 9 count completes before the 13. It will cancel out the 13. You might get the 13 completing before the 9 count completes on Monday. If we can rally on Sunday big time, got the possibility of completing a 9 count sell signal or a 13 count or possibly a double sequence count sell signal where you get a 13 followed by a 9 if 13 count can't complete on Sunday. We know that no interruptions on the 9 count, so that has to complete by Monday if it is to complete. It may complete not being the high of the count. Have to be. The bars just have to be above the bars from 4 bars ago. So does this count get canceled out and we complete the 13 later? If we don't close above the bars, each bar, the Saturday bar has to be above the bar 4 bars ago. The Sunday bar has to be above the bar from 4 bars ago. So the rally would have to continue on Sunday if this count is to be in play. Even if the 9 count gets canceled out, being above the bar from 4 bars ago, we get count being canceled out, we could still complete a 13 countdown sell signal here in the coming days ahead. Once we get a bar that is above the bar from 2 bars ago, we'll have the 13 complete. That could be a sell signal like it was back in December that marked the December top, the very day of the top. Now, sometimes accounts mark the very day of tops and bottoms. Other times you get it like over here. We had the 13 and you went a little bit lower. And again, showing price exhaustion. They mark reversals as the 9 over here and the 13 over here and this 13 down here. Other times you get counter trends like we had the 9 right here. So again, this is likely going to mark a reversal, but you've got a shot at a 13 count completing or a 9 count completing or both completing with the double sequence count sell signal here in the next few days. Again, this providing further evidence, causing me to come to the conclusion that we are getting very close to a top, or maybe we've topped, but I've been talking about moving to this trend line right here at 113,000, and we very well could even overthrow that level as I've talked about. And I think we'll pull back towards the 100-period moving average here and maybe the 200. If we get a 13 or a 9, I'll make a video and let you know about it. Now just know, well, Bitcoin is moving to this, resistance level. It's a breakout. It's a breakout. I think it'll be a false breakout. We still could go higher. Again, I've talked about the 113,000 area or even overthrowing it. But just know we have this negative divergence developing on a lot of indicators. And look at the risk on. It's also diverging. It's getting a higher low while Bitcoin's making a higher high. The Bitcoin trend is still positive. But again, if we start seeing momentum signals all begin to turn and then trending signals all begin to turn, we can start a pullback. Again, herd is all hyped up. The breakout! Likely going to see another top develop here very shortly and a pullback follow. The big move comes. Oh, BlackRock and the whales are all buying. Look, they want another bite of the apple. They're going to pull back and they're going to accumulate at lower levels. We're going to drop and the herd is going to go, what happened? They are getting so crazy bullish right now. Likely going to put it in a short-term top. Once we have a short-term top in and it's validated, these signals should turn back to bearish. Still bullish at this point. I need more evidence if the top is in. Getting warning signs I should be looking for a top. Now, I'm getting warning signs that we could see a top soon, but need more evidence of that. I need to see momentum begin to turn bearish. We don't have that yet. We don't have a bearish reversal of conditions. Bitcoin futures, we don't have Bitcoin right here, the Bitcoin price. We don't have a bearish momentum line yet. Even with the 4% sell-off on Friday, we don't have that yet. It could happen if the sell-off continues. Some warning signs of a potential top, but this could also just be, again, just a short-term pullback, like over here, far. But these signals here and the signals here and the red circle, it's warning, hey, I should be looking for a top here. I should be looking for a top very soon. And maybe that's in. Maybe we get one more pop higher. I need to see my signals validated with momentum turning and then trend signals if we're going to get a bigger sell-off. So we'll be watching for clues. We still may reach the 113,000 area. Since my signals called the very day of the bottom back here on April 7th, had several signals do it. We've now risen over 50% on Bitcoin, and now we're getting another bearish signal here. Now, not all my signals are turning bearish. Some of them are, but I need to see more evidence of that. I need to see the momentum line begin to turn, some of the trending signals begin to turn if we're going to pull back for a right shoulder right now. But again, they marked the top over here. They marked the bottoms over here. And again, just looking at short-term momentum, sometimes the signals mark tops and bottoms in looking at this momentum, this shift in momentum. And we're getting that here. And before we got the 4% sell-off, it formed before the sell-off happened, right as the session began, before the 4% decline, or just flat. So again, I have really good indicators. Could this be marking a top? Possibly, but we still may try to push up to that 113,000 area or even overthrow it. And if we do, we may push above the upper Bollinger Band or even try to close above it. Here, no signal here yet. I have to. Signals don't always form. Even if we push above the upper band, we still may not get a signal. Often than not, they show price exhaustion. It did mark the bottom here, the very day of the bottom, did mark the tops back over here in December and January. We'll see if we get another signal. So some signals are bullish. Everything's bullish here. Still, the bars are still green. No sign of a sell signal yet. May not get one. Even if one doesn't form, things could turn to red. Bars turned red here when we started the reversal and got this, and over here after this. So again, if we get a bigger pullback, I'm going to know it. We'll see evidence of it. No bearish signal here yet either. Bars are still blue. The cloud is still green. The line is still blue. Bullish signal before this move happened. We got the correction right here. There was no bottoming signal, though. We did get one over here. It doesn't always show up. We don't have a topping signal yet. That doesn't mean we don't have a top. We need to see more evidence if the top is in. I think the jury is still out on that. We still may reach the trend line. I've been talking about that 113,000 area or even overthrow it. Watch the video all the way through. No circle up here for a top yet. Doesn't mean we can't. Sometimes they don't form. Here we got it here. Went to a new high. It was early. that we could see a top soon, but we still went to a new high, didn't get it up here. Other times you got it, and right after it formed here it marks the bottom 2 days after the bottom. Is this marking a top, or do we see another signal here shortly? We'll see. We're trying to bounce off this area, get another bullish signal. What happens with that? Can we resume the rally and go to 113,000? We still may reach the 113,000 trend line for the neckline for an inverse head and shoulders. We may even overthrow it a little bit. Signals still have bullish momentum. The trend signals are still bullish, but I'm looking, they're warning me, hey, I better be watching for a top very, very soon, but we don't have the evidence that it's completed yet. Again, my signals correctly called the very day of the bottom on April 7th. We saw the reversal bar. That's that black bar you see right there. And again, momentum signals turned bullish right after that. And then we saw trend signals turn bullish. We saw blue bars here. We still have blue bars. We still have a blue line still rising. So again, is possible we continue to go higher to the 113,000 area or even beyond it just a little bit. Certainly possible. My signals, which are correct, are still bullish. My momentum signals are bullish. My trend signals are still bullish, but I'm getting warning signs. Hey, I should be looking for top. But right here, there's no topping signal yet. There's no reversal bar. And even with our sell-off of nearly 4% on Friday, there's no reversal bar. There's no topping signal yet. So again, it'll go higher to that 113,000 area I've talked about. Over here in December, we got the topping signal followed by the reversal. We still went higher. Here we got the topping signal, a reversal, still went a little bit higher, then got another reversal bar and saw the sell-off over here. Got the bottoming signal, the reversal bar, it was followed by the blue bars, had it over here, no reversal bar here, but we had it over here, bars tried to flip, but then we got rejection, 20 period just below our 50 period here on this chart. That's a green line you see right there. So again, no reversal signals here yet. I expect we're going to see short-term top very soon. If this is it, we need to see more evidence of that. Right now, there's no signals, at least here. I'm getting some other warning signs to be watching for it, though. It's called the day of the bottom, predicted the rally, absolutely incredible, 50% rally. At some point, we're going to get a pullback in the very near future. Herd is really hyped up. I've had several attacks. I said we're, going to get a pop and a drop. I still think that. And again, maybe the pop is done. Not enough evidence to say it's completed, though. I had one guy say, "Had a breakout. I don't even know how to read a chart." I put in tens of thousands of hours into doing this, and I mathematically based indicators. Correctly called the day of the top in December and January, and here on April 7th, day of those tops and bottoms. And I got some guy from the herd. I mean, it's a breakout. It's just getting. They weren't bullish down here when I called the bottom and predicted this rally, which we've now risen 50%. My first target of 105,000, and then I revised that and told you we were going to go make new highs. All of it being correct. My signals are bullish. You can clearly see that here. It will tell me when we're turning. There's not enough evidence of that yet, but I am getting warning signs. But I got some guy telling me that's just one of many, many attacks. I mean, I don't know how to read a chart, but yet I'm able with my indicators to call the very day of these tops, call the very day of the bottom here. I even called the bottom over here, the very day of the bottom over here, but it only produced a counter trend to form this double bottom. Because I have good indicators, but absolutely incredible how herd gets so hyped up at the tops. They so bullish. And as a top is developing, it's probably finished or about to finish. Pull back and dash their hopes. How bullish they get at tops and how bearish they get at bottoms. So again, if I see signals here, evidence of a top, I will make a video about it. Let you know. We do have a holiday weekend here in the United States. I'll be watching to see if that happens for the next few days or not. Complete a 13 count or a 9 count or maybe both the Bitcoin daily chart. Again, my signals are still bullish. We could still reach the trend line right here or even overthrow it, go closer to the 78.6 fib extension that I'm talking about in this video. If we have a wave 3 extension, first minor wave here, that's certainly possible. Don't want to rule that out. Signals are still bullish at this point. Here's another one of my indicators. I create my own indicators. This indicator took a very, very long time to create. I had to do a lot of math involving this indicator. I think it does a good job, and I wanted to show you. I programmed it to show me when there's going to be a shift in momentum. Now, that could just be short term, or it could mark a major turning point. And I've marked here for you, again, a circle above or below a candle signals a possible change in momentum or a reversal. It could be either one, meaning that price might start falling or it might start rising. Depending on if we get a bullish or bearish signal. It marked the bottom over here, marked the top over here, the top over here. Sometimes you get an early warning signal. Other times it marks the exact turn. The top here, the bottom here, some of these other bottoming signals. But again, we had the volatility over here. It was correct. We had the volatility over here. It was correct. We had the signal begin to show up before the 4% sell-off here. But again, I don't know if it's a reversal or if it is just a short-term pullback. It's going to be a reversal. We've got to see the bars turn back to red. We've got to drop below this orange line. It's holding as support. Drop below it over here. The bars turned to red, and the orange line and the purple line acted as resistance. The purple line over and over again acted as resistance until we got back above it, and then the orange line got back above the purple line. This pink line acted as major support. So some of my signals are warning that I should be looking for top, and we have a possible shift in momentum. We don't have the actual momentum signals turning bearish yet. We don't have a bearish reversal of conditions. We don't have the momentum line turning bearish. Happens, we can get a bigger pullback, and if the trend signals turn bearish, we can get a complete reversal, much bigger pullback for a right shoulder right here, right now. So I'll be watching. Do we stall here at 112,000, or do we go up towards 113, or maybe even overthrow that level? Did you hear what I just said? We can overthrow the trend line from these highs over here that I've been talking about, topping till above it. Very, very possible. I have some warning signs here. Momentum is trying to shift, or that I should be looking for a top in the very near future. Absolutely incredible signals. Find this information useful. Support the channel with the link directly below. I don't have any sponsors. I turn those offers down. They constantly contact me. I turn them down. I want to sell you anything. You like my chart? You like my indicators? Consider supporting the channel. Partner with me. Just take a moment. Follow the link below to take you to a secured site. You can donate any amount you want. A recurring donation. Do that, I thank you. But if you could take a moment and support the channel today, I would really, really appreciate that. I thank you for that. Now, as I'm making the video here on Saturday, Bitcoin had that sell-off on Friday. It was down almost 4%, 3.95% on 3.95% on Friday. We're up just under 1.5% here for the Saturday session. We're up 1.41% at the moment. Again, we have several hours left for the trading session to finish. This is Memorial Day weekend, so a lot of people are busy doing activities with their families and friends in the United States. The weekend as well. So again, watching to see what happens. But Bitcoin getting a sell-off, I'll be talking about my target levels of where I think we're going down, where I think we're going up. Talked about the resistance levels along the way here. We keep busting up through the resistance levels. So I'm looking at the trend line here. Right now, we're at the 61.8 Fibonacci, the 61.8 Fibonacci of the previous advance, the Fibonacci extension. We're halting right there at it, right on the nose. Now, we could get above it and go towards the 113,000 area here, or if we take our time reaching it, maybe 114,000. But again, there is some serious resistance with this trend line right here. I've talked about excluding the shadows, and we've stalled at that. I'll show you that chart in a moment. We stalled at that level, excluding the shadows. Right here, we just slightly overthrew it and hit our 61.8 Fibonacci of the previous advance, Fibonacci extension. I've talked about a pullback. Now, at the bottom, the herd was attacking me, telling me how stupid I was, that we were about to crash. It was over. Alt seasons canceled. I mean, people just attacked me left and right, and I ended up being right. We had a bottom, and we had a rally just over here, like at these peaks. Heard about a reversal. Trend line of resistance in the weekly time frame. We turned off of it at both of these. We hit the trend line twice at both of these peaks, December and January. Signals, we got bearish signals back up there. And again, told how stupid I was for thinking that Bitcoin could possibly drop. Remember, the herd gets very emotional. They love to buy tops. They love to panic sell at bottoms. They get very bearish at bottoms. I knew we were bottoming at major support at 74,000, hitting Bitcoin's average price with my great indicators. Warning, hey, remember, I had a target level of that 101 to 105,000 level, that area. My target of 105,000, and I revised it, and I told you Bitcoin was likely going to make new highs and move to this trend line, or the trend line excluding the shadows, which I'll show you in a moment. I've done that. It's moved to new all-time highs. In the herd's mind, the herd is saying, oh, we have a breakout. It's bullish. They weren't bullish down here. They were very bearish down here. When I was calling the bottom, the very day of the bottom on the 7th, and then I called low on the 9th, my signals all turned bullish on the 7th, 8th, and 9th. My signals were correct. I got very, very bullish over here, and as you know, I've been accumulating a position down at these levels under the 200 period. I started to nibble at it just right when we reached the 200, and then got more aggressive under the 200 here and over here before the rallies ever took place, and down over here because we hit Bitcoin's average price. And again, that strategy has paid off beautifully. Closed a portion of my position earlier this week selling into the rally, but we've broken out, and I told you we still may go higher, but we broke out. The herd getting bullish right here. Oh, they're getting all hyped up, and the moon boys posted a couple of posts on X, formerly Twitter, about how the Bitcoin's now risen up since my signals called the day of the bottom about 50%, just over 50% here. Eventually, we're going to get a pullback, and I got people attacking me left and right. The herd, no way, because again, the herd believes we're just going to rally and just keep going. Doesn't believe Bitcoin goes down. They only believe it goes up. Trader, I really don't care which way Bitcoin goes. It can go up, it can go down. I trade it either way. I really don't care. When I'm bearish, short-term bearish, thinking prices might pull back, the herd attacks me. When I'm bullish, we're way down, we're bottoming, attacks me there too, because they get very, very bearish. Everything's based on their emotions. It's psychological, it really is. Trading is psychological with these people. Now, they weren't bullish when I called the bottom and predicted the rally up, the massive rally back up. The way they started getting bullish and sentiment started changing. Now that we get this breakout, it's a breakout, it's a breakout, here we go. So again, love to buy tops. They absolutely love it. It's their hobby. Love to get wrecked. And been bullish down here at the bottom. When I called the bottom, would have made a boatload of money. I'm going to buy another top here. We're going to top here, either here at these levels. Maybe we bust up a little bit higher. That's certainly possible. 117,000, 121,000. If we go to the 78.6 fib extension, in between the 61.8 fib or 78.6 fib extension, we have this resistance area in here. If we overthrow this trend line, if we don't reach it, then that's it at the 61.8 fib. If we come up here, you could overthrow it into this red pink, or this pink area here between the 61.8 fib and 78.6 Fibonacci. So again, this is where I think we're going to get a pullback, either at these levels here, a little bit higher, and then I think we pull back towards the moving averages. Doesn't believe price goes down. They only believe it goes up. So I just want to make sure you understand this. Again, I think we're going to have a failed breakout. Signals have to turn back to bullish in order for that to happen. Turn back to bearish in order for that to happen. We'll pull back and get a right shoulder on an inverse head and shoulders pattern. I think we have a left shoulder over here. I think we have a head formation that's either done or about to be done. And again, as I've said, we can move right into that trend line, or again, we're hitting the trend line excluding the shadows. I think you pull back, and you pull back to the moving averages over the next couple of weeks, and you get your right shoulder. And then I think it's going to be a massive move higher on Bitcoin. The next move that's coming is gonna be spectacular. Extremely bullish on Bitcoin, but I am realistic, and I know Bitcoin doesn't go just straight up as the moon boys and the herds. If we move higher, go to this level, or if we exclude the shadow, maybe a little bit lower, the measurement right here, if we just take, you could do it two ways. You could take the high of whatever the high is right here. Currently, that's this 112,000 area. Subtract it from 115,000, or I'm sorry, 74,000, pardon me. If we don't go any higher, this 112,000 minus the 74,000 area comes to about the 137,500, pardon me, 37,500 measurement. So it measures $37,500. Okay, if you tack that onto the breakout point here, right here at 112, say we don't go any higher, then you're looking at an minimum objective target for the measurement of 149,500. Does that ring a bell to you? Oh, my 150,000 minimum objective target for Bitcoin, 150,000, 175,000, and that's subject to change based on how long Bitcoin takes to reach that target trend line. But if we have peaked right here, then this pattern, this inverse head and shoulders, and we pull back, say right here, and this pattern measures, once we break out, it measures to $149,500, 150,000 target level. That would take us close to the 1.5%, the 1.5 Fibonacci extension level, 164,400. That would take us close to that level from the previous advance. The other way to do it is what I've done here is you just take the low to the high point and you tack it on. So say we do go up to 113,000, well, then I've tacked that on to breakout. Now it may be that, again, breakout point is later in June. We pull back for a few weeks right here now, or go higher and pull back, and we come back up here later in June and break out. Then the measurement of the pattern, just from that low to the high here, or 13,000 levels, I have it here on this line right here, that would take us up to the 161 extension, and that's 171,476. So that 171,500 area, does that level ring a bell to you? Remember my target, 150,000 to 175,000. So measurement just on the dollar amount, the difference between 112,000 or 113,000 there and the low at 74,000 would measure to the 150,000 area, 149,500. If we get the measurement here just by measuring from the low to the high, then you're looking at more at 171,400. So just want to let you know, again, I'm looking at these Fibonacci extensions. You're going to get a pullback, and I think you're going to get a right shoulder. The bullish golden cross could mark the top for Bitcoin. Could get it shortly thereafter. We got the bullish cross there happen. We're starting to get a sell-off now. So again, it may not be done. It's likely the rally is likely coming to a conclusion. Looking for a peak in this area right here, this area right in here between the 61.8 fib extension and 78.6 fib extension. I think you got a good shot that we're going to turn either here or at this trend line right here, just slightly higher, maybe 113,000, or if we take our time reaching at 114,000 or so. Could go up in here to the 117, 118 to up to 121,000 if we try to get closer to the 78.6 Fibonacci extension. So I want to be clear again about the pop and the drop I post on X in these videos. And now that we've had this breakout to the upside, the herd saying, no way, we're going down. I had somebody comment, need more people to get bearish and call for a top. And again, people aren't listening. A short-term top, not a major top. Extremely bullish on Bitcoin. The herd and the moon boys, we need more people to get bearish so that we can really go. And I'm telling you, these people, they get this hyped up, you're going to put in a short-term top at some point. And it's, again, my signals are going to tell me when that's happening, and it's warning it could be happening very, very soon. So Fibonacci extension levels. Now, I told you that oftentimes the death cross will mark a bottom. I think that is the case here. We got this death cross. This is the 50, the green line crossing below the 200, and it marked a bottom. That's what's happened the last couple of death crosses during this entire advance. We've had a couple of them, and it's marked a bottom, either just before or after we get the death cross. Common with Bitcoin. Just as the death cross marked the bottom, the bullish golden cross can mark the top. Moved 50% higher since my signals correctly called the very day of the bottom. Again, nothing goes straight up, nothing goes straight down. So could we end up setting up this inverse head and shoulders pattern? I believe that we're in minor wave 1. Whether it's done or not, I'm uncertain. I need more of my signals to turn bearish in order to validate that. Now, we've come up to the trend lines. I've talked about these trend lines here. My objective target, that 105,000 area, and I revised it, and I told you we're going to go make new highs. Signals were warning. They were still bullish and warning we're going to go make new highs. That's exactly what happened. Now we get the breakout, the dotted red line above the January high of 109,000, and the bulls, they get bullish. Oh, it's a breakout. When we broke the downward trend line, they were still cautious, still negative, still bearish. It wasn't until we started really up here near the highs that they started turning back to bullish. Their sentiment started changing. Extremely bearish down here. Getting so many attacks right now for saying that we're going to put in a short-term top and pull back. We're likely getting close to a top, or maybe at it. If I get confirmation of that, more and more signals turning bearish. And if you watch the video all the way through, you'll see the signals that I'm watching. If we exclude the shadow here and we hit these other lows right here, excluding the shadow there, came right up to this level, just overthrew it. This is the 111, 112,000 area. 12,000, we turned down and we dropped nearly 4%. Above that is this trend line. Again, these highs could be pointing to the next high. We could end up getting one more push higher in the next few days or on into next week at some point. Don't rule that out. We very well could. Even try to overthrow this trend line, as I've said, and go deeper, moving past the 61.8 Fibonacci expansion, moving closer towards the 78.6 Fibonacci extension level. Bullish golden cross could mark a topping process here or a little bit higher, and we could begin to pull back towards these moving averages. The 50 will rise. We could drop below it, go back closer to the 200 or more likely the 100 period moving average. Why did I say that? Bitcoin follows the 100 period moving average. You're above it, good things are happening. When you're below it, bad things are happening. Oftentimes when you get above it, which we did over here, you pull back towards it. Over here, we dropped below the 100 period moving average. We back tested it, and then we got a bigger drop, holding below the 50 period moving average, getting rejection at the 50 period moving average, 20 period moving average not seen on this chart. I think you're getting this larger inverse head and shoulders pattern. I think it is likely going to set up. The pattern measures, like I said, this level towards 149,500. If we go to 113,000 or beyond it, 114, overthrow the trend line, maybe just beyond that 150,000 area. But I think you're going to pull back here over the next couple of weeks, and it's going to dash the hopes of the bulls, really the herd, and the moon boys, and they're going to express all kinds of doubts. But again, it would be a healthy thing to pull back before going higher. And then the next move after that is going to be an extended wave 3. So I think you get wave 1 and 2, and it's going to be an incredible move higher. So this is what I think is going on. Maybe we've peaked here, maybe we haven't. I need more evidence if the top is in at this point. Right now, we're trying to bounce off of the 10 period moving average for Bitcoin. That's this red line right here. And we have this rising wedge and the trend line right here from this low. And then we connect it to this low right here. That's the trend line we're trying to bounce off of right now. This class B divergence, 2 equal peaks on the indicator, and price went higher. Be a pullback, or we could still try to reach the 113,000 or even overthrow it, 113,000 level, or even overthrow it a little bit, 114, 115,000, something like that. Try to overthrow the neckline. But I think you're going to eventually peak here, or maybe you are peaking and you're going to pull back and get the right shoulder moving towards the 100 period moving average, which will be rising. We gravitate back towards it. Still could form a larger divergence right here on the RSI. And the MACD is got a divergence, need a solid rollover if this is going to mark a top. It's got to stop making new highs if the peak is in. You've got this multiple point divergence on the stochastic, but we can remain at extremes for an extended period of time. So again, I think a top is about to happen or has just completed but I need to see a little bit more evidence if that's going to be the case. And when I called the bottom, I told you I thought we'd start minor wave 1, and again, it very well could be done here. Now I have two counts that I'm looking at. One here, that minor wave is one is done. I told you we could see a multiple point divergence here. That has certainly happened. Still may get one in this recent price action, still try to push up to the trend line at 113,000, still very, very possible. Count would suggest that we're already done and we're starting an ABC correction for 2 that's going to take us downward. Now, it may not be as deep as I marked here, maybe it is. This is a double bottom confirmation line. Not pull back that far. Looking at the Fibonacci retracements. Same diversions here on the MACD. For bigger sell-off, we've got to see it go negative. It might be we get a divergence right here in the more recent price action. Again, people gone for the holiday, easily see manipulation, and we could see this turn back up, and you could get one more pop higher into the 113,000 area or even overthrow it. With that reversal on Friday, we're seeing pring parameter roll back over and complete a multiple point divergence as well. So again, the move very well could be done. If Bitcoin stops making new highs, then this count is it. We had the trend line here from the highs over here. We overthrew that. I had excluded the shadow, included it, and we overthrew both of those levels, which rising wedges often do. We'll see if it's redefining the boundary and we end up going higher, or is this an overthrow move marking the peak? This is the L8 wave count saying minor wave is done, 1 is done, and we're about to get minor wave 2 here. It's already under construction. Now, I have another way of counting this. It's an extended wave 3. For L8 wave is speculation. Expect a pullback for wave 2. It may not be done yet. Minor wave 1 may not be done yet. And here is the extended wave 3 scenario. And we have a wave 1. We've got a wave 1, a 2, and this whole thing is an extended wave 3, and now we're getting a 4. The other chart, I've excluded the shadow a little bit. We're right at the trend line. If we include the shadow, it's a little bit lower here towards the cloud under the 50 period, and then we end up getting a 5. So again, could that be in play, that we still go to that 113,000 area or even overthrow it? Great Scott, did you hear what I just said? Even overthrow it. We can go to 114, 115,000 very easily. Overthrowing that trend line and then turning back down if we get a topping tail or something like that. But again, just another way to count it. We'll see what happens. That late wave is speculation. But again, that minor wave 1 is either done or about to finish at a little bit higher levels. I need more evidence if the top is in. So the counts here on the 4-hour time frame. Another divergence in this most recent price action. We did over here and we did over here. Do we do that again? Maybe. We'll see. At some point, I'm telling you, we're going to get a pullback. Signals will mark the turn. They're warning I should be watching for it right now. I have not yet validated that. Here's my entire Elliott wave count for the weekly time frame. I think primary wave 4 completed here. I think this whole thing is primary wave 5, the blue count you see right there. I think it's unfolding in 5 waves. I think we have 1, 2. I think this whole thing was 3 and then 4, completing intermediate wave 4. I think we're now in intermediate wave 5 that's going to unfold in these 5 minor waves that I've marked right here in black. Again, I showed you a moment ago taking us into August. Here, I've dragged it out and pushed it on into September. Again, I don't know where it's going to end. I know that that trend line is resistance, and I think we will eventually gravitate to it. I think you pull back, you get your inverse head and shoulders, you measure, and it could take you 150, or as I said, towards that 175,000 area. What was it, 171,400? This is what I think is going on.